even before you go to SAM. You cannot have an effective SAM search without your codes. 1510, how would you know what 1510 does and which agency you should match that to? Well, you would take 1510 and you would do a search. 1510 is the highest awarded PSC code in the federal government in 2024. If you are in aviation or aircraft or anything to do with airplanes or airplane parts, a Boeing, Lockheed type, any of those areas would fit under 1510. If you wanted to know specifics about that, you would run a report right here in USA Spending under 1510. What do? We would go here to products or service code. We would put in 1510. Now, when you get to 1510, just choose or check the box that says 1510. Do not choose 15 because you'll get a lot of other 15 categories. We specifically want to review 1510. That's all I'm going to do. I will leave in the 2024 category. I chose 1510. Now I will hit submit and let's see what we get. There were 793 contracts awarded under 1510. Now, this is really important because it tells you who the players are. Of course, you're going to see the big boys, but what if you really wanted to know exactly the types of contracts that were under 1510 and which categories and what numbers you should look for? If I were going to look for other opportunities, I would go here and download this report. It could take a minute, but that's not a lot of contracts for 2024. This is an area that would be great competition for these large companies. So if you're a small business and you're in the aviation business, I would go here to dig deeper. I would download the report here. I won't necessarily walk through this report with you at this time, but then I would click on transactions so that you can get all of the transactions and all of the activity. Now, I do have some older videos where I show how you can clean up your report, but what am I looking for in here? I am looking for the types of contracts that would be under 1510. So I clicked on transactions and I clicked on everything, and it will download a report for me. It could take a few minutes. If it's a big report, it could take a little while. You could even close the window while you're waiting on the report. Now, what if I wanted to look at some other codes and I wanted to look at some other details? Let's go down here and look at some of these categories. Which agency spent under 1510? Well, these are the agencies. Primarily, DoD spent money under 1510. Of course, that would be DLA. That might be the Army, the Navy, but this is how you determine what you should review. These other agencies, they spent money under 1510 as well. National Aeronautics, Homeland Security, Department of Transportation, but you see their numbers are much smaller. And we know this makes sense because the system told us we're $381 billion under PSC Code 1510. It told us that. So now what we need to do is run that report like we just did, download it, and study the report. That's how you're going to find out which areas you want to use in a category for winning contracts. So what would I do with that 1510? After I looked at the report, this is not going to be a very big report. After I looked at that report, I would go and look at the items that were awarded under contracts, and I would not look for small business opportunities. If I am a manufacturer, I would go for the larger contracts because guess what? You see these recipients right here, Lockheed, Boeing, all they do is work with small businesses anyway. If you are a small business aviation manufacturer, this is a gold mine for you because you could get a lot of these contracts directly, especially now. Boeing has a lot going on. Lockheed Martin has a lot going on. They're not paying attention to some of the things and some of the opportunities that the government may want them to do at this time. So what would I do with the 1510 code? Go right over to SAM, go right into DIBS, and I would look for those contracts after I review the report to see the types of items that are on that report. This is how you find out where you want to be. This is how you start winning multi-million dollar contracts. You start small, bidding in DLA, bidding in SAM, and the next thing you know, 1510 is your priority when it comes to winning contracts because you did the research, you did the due diligence. As you can see, these large companies, they're winning billions of dollars consistently. But this is where small businesses need to be. Don't go where other small businesses go because it's like everyone is going after the same area. Be smarter than that. Go where the big boys go because that's where the federal government wants to see you.